Another day of school. Nothing unusual about it. The old routine, teachers and tests and homework, and knowing the right answers.
And sometimes the wrong ones.
For the moment, English, history, science, and math fade in the background. A meeting of the photography club is now adjourned. It's fun listening to the professional photographer's lecture, getting tips on taking pictures, solving tough problems, meeting new challenges.
And the beauty of it all is no homework. Well, you wouldn't call it homework. This is one camera club assignment that's going to be real fun. Kind of like photojournalism. How I spend my leisure time. And I'm to tell it with photographs. I got all term to do it. Let's check this. How did that lecturer explain it?
The camera is like the human eye. A small inverted image is produced back of the lens on the sensitized area, just like in my eye. The camera shutter is like the eyelid. As long as the eyelid is open, the light rays form an image that passes through. When the eyelid closes, all light is cut off. The diaphragm of the camera controls the diameter to which the shutter is opened. The shutter controls the amount of time you allow this light to go through. The diaphragm, the volume or quantity of light that passes through while the shutter is open. To put it simply, a smaller opening needs a longer time to pass the same total amount of light as a larger opening with a shorter time.
Why wait to get started on that project? Let's catch the track meet at Downing Stadium. Sure could use some action shots.
Looks as if another guy had the same idea. There are several basics you've got to know to take better than ordinary snapshots. If the camera has a few simple adjustments, like various shutter speeds and diaphragm openings, it makes the job an easy one. Pick a vantage point carefully, away from the crowd that'll cut off the action at just the wrong moment.
Hey, get out of the way. Want to get run over?
Keep clear of the participants. Don't distract them while they're doing their job. That is, if you want to stay healthy. This fellow's got a twin lens Ricoh Flex. Same principle as the 35, but has an extra lens for viewing your subject. Both types of cameras have their own advantages. Where there's plenty of action and your subject moves about, like in this meet, it's a good idea to pre-focus your camera. You pick an average distance and pre-focus through the ground glass on the reflex camera or with the rangefinder of your 35mm camera. If it's going to move across your lens, it requires considerably greater shutter speed to stop it than moving away, or towards you, or even diagonally. Remember though, the faster the shutter speed, the wider open your lens diaphragm should be set. A shutter speed of 1/100th or 1/200th of a second will stop almost any action just enough and still give the feeling of motion you're looking for without freezing everything.
So I'm blackjacked into being a babysitter for my little brother while my parents go out for the evening. A good time to get something accomplished, photographically speaking. Let's see, what did that photographer say at the club meeting? Best way to make a kid hold still is to have him do something that interests him. That is, if you can find something that'll perform a miracle.
Naturalness. That's the secret of a good portrait, with or without a flash gun, indoors or out. Fast film lets you use an average exposure of about 1/50th of a second. That's fast enough for this kind of shot.
Okay, Buster. You've had it.
A visit to International Airport is the next best thing to taking a plane ride. A well-chosen location is far more effective for naturalness than the most elaborate studio. Just looking around will give your imagination any number of possibilities. It's all there. You've only got to recognize it. One factor that makes Idlewild Airport the wonderfully interesting place it is its immigration service hostesses, always around to extend a welcome hand to visitors from foreign lands. Use a filter if you want to accent certain parts of the composition in your picture. A yellow filter does wonders with black and white shots of clouds and skies. Try a very light blue filter to keep your shots from appearing too red when using color films in the late afternoon. One way to learn some of the finer points of photography is to watch a professional in action. Dan Wynn, one of the foremost in his trade, opens the door of his studio to an eager amateur. The photographer has to see to it that the model's makeup and grooming, including hairdo, are suitable. For best results, explain the idea involved to the model, whether amateur or professional. Allow her to assume a few poses that are natural to her, so that the right one can be chosen. An experienced model like Margot Warner can strike a pose that will answer every modeling assignment. Life among the flash bulbs and lenses is conveyed in capsule form. To be successful in your daily wanderings, learn how to take good pictures of the opposite sex. A tip from an old pro: the gals want to look pretty in their photos, so beware of the wrong angle. The photographer can make a picture that pleases her, or for that matter, any subject, by being more symbolic than realistic.
How about getting a date for me, Bob? You're the ladies' man of the crowd. Well, we go. My friend Dan Wynn suggested the United Nations.
Well, the date showed up. But where's her escort? Temper, lady, temper. Apologies and introductions are in order.
Let's get started. There's lots to do today.
They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Guess everyone believes in that. Makes a good shot to kick off my UN picture series. Kind of symbolic.
On that note, the picture-taking exhibition gets peacefully underway.
Here's a swell one, the UN building itself. The eye-level action finder comes in handy when something blocks the path of focus, like cars or bushes, and it's easy to use. Good for action, too, or for shooting over the heads of a crowd.
Tilting the camera upward from a low viewpoint helps to exaggerate the height and majesty of the building. Often, this slight distortion of perspective adds to the effect of bigness.
A group shot might work out right just about here. Everyone is getting into the act, except when they goof.
The self-timer delays the action about 8 or 10 seconds, long enough for the photographer to get into his own picture before the shutter goes off. A sunshade helps here. He uses backlighting to get the effect he wants. This gives the hair a sort of halo edge. Very interesting, but be careful not to get the sun shining directly into the lens. With the first phase of the project completed, a club critique on the results to date is in order.
Hey, I want to look too. Wow, did I take that?
One member tried out her subminiature camera, which fits so handily in her bag. She found it to be as versatile as any of the bigger models and gave her excellent results, from flash pictures to finely detailed portraits and action photos. Carries it with her all the time, too. No small talk here. Subject, the Ricoh Color Back, that lets the reflex camera shoot 35mm pictures, make color transparencies for projection on the screen, or using with a viewer. Presto, a 35mm camera. Taking a close-up has its pitfalls because a camera lens and viewfinder do not always see a subject eye to eye. The difference lies in the distance between the viewfinder and the lens. This results in what we call parallax. Here is a simplified explanation. If you photograph an object in close-up, you see the picture you want to take through the viewfinder. But the lens, being in a slightly different position, sees the object otherwise. To correct parallax in this instance, shift the camera so that the lens ends up where your viewfinder was. Parallax is now eliminated because the viewfinder saw exactly what the lens sees now. The close-up adapter, used to take pictures as close as 18 inches from the subject, eliminates parallax. A particularly useful accessory when shooting your dog or goldfish or model airplane, or even a close-up portrait. A creative photo. This is the goal of 60 million owners of cameras in the United States who take over 2 billion pictures a year. Out of this number are 15 million teenage camera fans. For them, as for all of us, a good photograph does not imitate a painting or any other form of art. Photography captures the meaning of a moment in time, records a scene with faithfulness of detail and tone, a visual memory as it really happened. Let's take pictures.